Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are David Finley, an English teacher whose specialist subject is the comedy actor and writer John Cleese. Ro Dunn's a retired marketing manager. She'll be answering questions on the Alnwick Garden in Northumberland. Shamina Chowdhury, a solicitor whose subject is Marvel's Avengers films. And John Charnock Wilson, a science and maths tutor. His specialist subject, manatees, dugongs and sea cows. Many's the time, I'm sure, when some of you have wondered what your specialist subject would be. Go on, have a think now. But imagine having your knowledge tested by Mastermind's mind-blowing question masters, and imagine sitting in the black chair. Imagine the spotlight on you. Imagine the sound in your head of the ticking clock. Imagine the nerves. Well, our 4 contenders tonight are made of stern stuff, ready for 2 minutes of questions on their specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. At stake, a place in the semi-finals. So let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name?
David Finley.
And your occupation?
I'm an English teacher.
And your specialist subject?
John Cleese.
The actor and writer best known as a founder of the comedy troupe Monty Python. In 2 minutes, starting now. What was the name of Cleese's first wife and sometime writing partner whom he married in 1968?
Connie Booth.
Yes. What was the touring name of the Footlights Revue, originally called A Clump of Plinths, in which Cleese performed in the West End and on Broadway?
Cambridge Circus.
Yes, the famous sketch entitled Class, which capitalised on the comparative heights of Cleese, Ronnie Barker and Ronnie Corbett, was first broadcast on what television sketch show?
The Frost Report.
Yes. In the Monty Python sketch in which Cleese hosts a comic version of the quiz show Take Your Pick, he names the star prize several times. How does he refer to it?
Pass.
Cleese joined the other surviving Pythons for a series of live shows in 2014. The title of this show began Monty Python Live, mostly. What was the second half of the title?
From the Hollywood Bowl, no.
No, 1 down, 5 to go.
Yep.
Cleese appears briefly with Eleanor Bron in a 1979 episode of Doctor Who, but wishing to keep his appearance secret, Cleese unsuccessfully asked that he be billed under what name?
Otto.
No, Kim Bread. In 2005, a woolly species of what primate was named after Cleese in honour of his promotion of conservation issues and given the scientific name Avahi cleesei?
Lemur.
Yes. In Monty Python and the Holy Grail, what does Cleese, as the Black Knight, say immediately after both his arms and both his legs have been chopped off?
We'll call it a draw.
Yes. What did Cleese request as his luxury item when he was on Desert Island Discs in 1997?
Michael Palin.
Yes, a stuffed Michael Palin. Now take that in 1979, when Cleese and Michael Palin clashed on television with Malcolm Muggeridge and the Bishop of Southwark over whether the film Life of Brian was blasphemous. Who was chairing the discussion?
Tim Rice.
Yes. What's the title of the Fawlty Towers episode in which Fawlty says, "May I ask what you were expecting to see out of a Torquay hotel bedroom window? Sydney Opera House, perhaps?"
Communication problems.
Yes. Cleese plays himself in the season 7 finale of which American television comedy drama series? I've started, so I'll finish. In an episode that also features Christina Aguilera and Eminem.
Saturday Night Live?
No, it's Entourage.
Oh.
And David, you just had the one pass in the Monty Python sketch. Cleese hosts a comic version of the quiz show Take Your Pick. He names the star prize several times as the blow on the head. And at the end of that round, David, you've scored 8 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Ro Dunn's.
And your occupation?
Retired marketing manager.
And your chosen specialist subject?
The Alnwick Garden in Northumberland.
Yes, one of the UK's top visitor gardens adjacent to Alnwick Castle in Northumberland. In 2 minutes, starting now. Which 18th century landscape designer was commissioned by the first Duke of Northumberland to redesign the grounds of Alnwick Castle, including remodelling the River Anne to make it more like a lake?
Capability Brown.
Yes, after Jane Percy, Duchess of Northumberland, decided in 1996 to redevelop the Alnwick Garden, she immediately appointed the estate's clerk of works to be the project director. What was his name?
Ian August.
Yes, what was the name of the Belgian landscape architect who, together with his son Peter, conceived the formal plans for Alnwick, the pair's first garden design in Britain?
Jack Wiertz.
Yes, what name was given to the plot of land alongside Denwick Lane that Algernon the Good, the fourth Duke of Northumberland, bought in the mid-19th century to increase the size of the castle's grounds?
Corledge.
No, Goose-Nose Field, the species of blossom tree commonly called the Great White Cherry, more than 320 of which formed the garden's cherry orchard, has what Japanese name?
Tai Haku.
Yes. What's the title of the television documentary first broadcast on BBC One in January 2003 that followed the development of Phase 1 of the garden?
Gardening with the Duchess.
No, Charlie and the Duchess. The Alnwick Rose, which was unveiled at the Chelsea Flower Show in 2001, is the creation of which Shropshire rose breeder?
David Austin.
Yes, the sculptor William Pye designed 8 water features in the Serpent Garden, including one named after which 17th century Italian mathematician?
Torricelli.
Yes, Alnwick is renowned for its poison garden full of toxic plants. What plant genus represented there includes a deadly species known as monkshood, wolfsbane or blue rocket?
Aconitum's.
Yes. What was the name of the former SAS soldier and mountaineer who helped to design the elevated walkways around the garden's treehouse to make them accessible to wheelchair users?
Brummy Stokes.
Yes, the Grand Cascade, the multi-tiered water feature that forms the backbone of the whole garden scheme, is bordered by a topiary hedge formed from which tree of the birch family?
Hornbeam.
Yes, what's the name of the honey-coloured sandstone sourced from a nearby quarry that was used for the outer walls of the Grand Cascade and Lower Basin?
Darney Sandstone.
Yes, I'll take that, it's Darney Stone. And Roe, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, 10 points.
Oh, thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Shamina Chowdhury.
And your occupation?
Solicitor.
And your specialist subject?
Marvel's The Avengers films.
The films from the Marvel Cinematic Universe in which Earth's greatest superheroes join forces with the fate of life in the universe at stake. In 2 minutes, starting now. At the start of Avengers Assemble, the Asgardian Loki appears in the joint dark energy mission using a portal created by what object?
Tesseract.
Yes, in the first film, after Loki sends the rest of his army through the portal, Captain America issues orders for a containment plan that includes giving the Hulk what single-word instruction?
Smash.
Yes, which actor plays Pietro Maximoff, otherwise known as Quicksilver, in Age of Ultron?
Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Yes, at the start of Infinity War, which character played by Idris Elba is killed on board the Asgardian refugee ship Statesman by the supervillain Thanos?
Heimdall.
Yes, which fishing village near Eyemouth on the east coast of Scotland was the filming location for New Asgard in Avengers Endgame?
St. Abs.
Yes, when the Red Skull greets Black Widow and Hawkeye as they search for the Soul Stone on Vormir, he addresses them as Natasha, daughter of Ivan, and Clint, son of...
Edith.
Yes. On Titan, Drax says that Peter Quill, the leader of the Guardians, should tell Peter Parker about his dance-off to save the universe. And Quill asks Parker whether what feature film is still the greatest in history.
Footloose.
Yes, when the Guardians of the Galaxy go to investigate a distress call in Infinity War, Groot is playing what real-life video game?
Arcade Defender.
Yes, in reference to Captain America's shield, Ultron remarks that vibranium is the most versatile substance on the planet, and they used it to build a what?
Saucepan.
Frisbee. What's the name of the dwarf king at Nidavellir who forges the axe Stormbreaker for Thor in Infinity War?
Atri.
Yes, after Hulk has used the gauntlet to bring the vanished people back in Avengers Endgame, the expert marksman, Clint Barton, is phoned by his wife, who was one of those who'd vanished. What's her first name?
Laura.
Yes, in Avengers Assemble, Loki causes mayhem at a black tie event in Stuttgart as he helps Barton, who is under mind control, to steal what substance?
Iridium.
Yes, in the first film, when Loki arrives to steal the Tesseract, Nick Fury tells him, "We have no quarrel with your people," to which Loki replies that an ant has no quarrel with what?
A boot.
Yes, a boot. And at the end of that round, Shamina, you had no passes and 12 points.
Thank you.
And our final contender, please. And your name.
John Charnock Wilson,
And your occupation.
science and maths tutor.
And your specialist subject.
Manatees, dugongs, and sea cows.
The large aquatic mammals now living primarily in tropical waters. In 2 minutes, starting now. In taxonomy, manatees and dugongs are classified in which order, named after a mythical creature with which these animals have sometimes been identified?
Sirenia.
Yes, what single word name derived from Latin is given to the sensory hairs, similar to a cat's whiskers, which are found all over the bodies of Sirenian mammals?
Vibrissae.
Yes, manatees are unable to turn their heads because they have fewer cervical vertebrae than most other mammals. How many do they have?
6.
Yes, which relative of manatees and dugongs, thought to have had a body up to 25 feet long, was first described in 1741, but was hunted to extinction within 30 years?
Stella's sea cow.
Yes, what name is now given to the island in the far east of Russia, where Georg Stella first observed his namesake, Stella's sea cow?
The Commander Islands.
No, it's Bering Island. Conventionally, the largest population of dugongs is said to live in Australia's northern waters between Shark Bay off the country's west coast and Which Bay in Queensland?
Moreton Bay.
Yes, which Australian environmental scientist co-authored the 2011 book Ecology and Conservation of the Sirenia and is widely credited as the world's leading authority on dugongs?
Bob Bond.
No, Helene Marsh. The taxonomic name of the West African manatee includes the name of which river said to mark the northern limit of its natural range?
Senegalensis.
Yes. What German name is given to the unusual clusters of neurons found in the cerebral cortices of manatees, thought to be responsible for processing information from their sensory hairs?
Barrel nodes.
No, Rindenkern. What's the genus name of the extinct Sirenian identified from a skeleton discovered by Roger Portel, which had 4 limbs and lived partly on land?
Protosiron.
No, the Pesosiron. Manatees continually produce new teeth at the backs of their jaws, which replace older teeth nearer the front. What alliterative 2-word name is given to this phenomenon?
Conveyor belt. No. Forward march. No.
Ooh. Marching molars. You almost had it. You almost had it, John. But you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 6 points. And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 6 points, it's John. In 3rd place with 8 points comes David. In 2nd place with 10 points, it's Ro. And in 1st place with 12 points, it's Shamina. So now the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask John to join us again, please. So, John, you start with 6 points, plenty of time in the general knowledge round, 2.5 minutes to go. And it begins now. A repeated series of which letter of the alphabet is used, for example, in cartoons to indicate that a person is asleep or snoring?
Z.
Yes. Which former royal residence in the London borough of Richmond upon Thames was created in 1514 by Cardinal Wolsey, who was later obliged to present it as a gift to Henry VIII?
Hampton Court.
Yes. Which South African city is known in Afrikaans as Kaapstad?
Pass.
What term from the Italian for reply is used in fencing to describe a quick thrust made after blocking an opponent's lunge?
Riposte.
Yes. In psychology, what word, the Latin for the pronoun I, is defined as the part of the mind which is most conscious of the self?
Ego.
Yes. Which actress starred in the 1980s John Hughes films 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink?
Marilyn Monroe.
Molly Ringwald. What French term, which translates as blue ribbon, is used in English to refer to cookery or a chef of the highest quality?
Cordon bleu.
Yes, the medical condition, sometimes called strabismus, affects which pair of organs in the human body?
Ears.
No, eyes. Which politician was Chancellor of Germany from 1998 until 2005 when he was succeeded by Angela Merkel?
Coal.
No, Gerhard Schroeder. Which American author's influential 1854 book, Walden, chronicled his attempts to live simply in a remote cabin in the woods of Massachusetts?
Pass.
Reg Presley was the singer with which rock group who had a 1966 UK hit with the song Wild Thing?
Pass.
What name from the Greek for upon the tongue is given to the flap of tissue beneath the tongue at the back of the throat that covers the opening to the windpipe during swallowing?
Glottis. Epiglottis.
No, I have to accept your first answer. It's the epiglottis. The adjective boreal refers to which one of the four main compass directions?
Boreal. North.
Yes, the Oxford English Dictionary attributes the origin of the term lovely jubbly, meaning excellent, to a character in which television sitcom?
Take it from here.
No, Only Fools and Horses. Which opera singer born in Stockholm in 1820 was known as the Swedish Nightingale?
Jenny Lind.
Yes, the daughter born to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex in California in June 2021 was given what first name after the family nickname for the child's great-grandmother?
Lilibet.
Yes, Lilibet it is. And John, you had 3 passes. Reg Presley was the singer with which rock group? The Trogs. Which American author's influential 1854 book, Walden, chronicled his attempts to live simply? Henry David Thoreau. And which South African city is known in Afrikaans as Kaapstad? It's Cape Town. Yes, you knew it. I know you knew it. And at the end of that round, John, you now have a total of 14 points. And next up, can we have David again, please? So, David, you start with 8 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 14 points, and you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. Österreich is the German name for which Central European country?
Austria.
Yes, in 2021, which Glasgow-based football club won the Scottish Premiership for the first time in 10 years?
Rangers.
Yes, which former editor of the Independent newspaper and BBC political editor began presenting his Sunday morning current affairs show in 2005?
Andrew Neil.
No, Andrew Marr. A bowler hat is a recurring feature of the works of which Belgian surrealist painter born in 1898?
Magritte.
Yes, LaGuardia Airport is in which US city?
New York.
Yes, from 1989 to 1995, the actor and director Kenneth Branagh was married to which actress with whom he appeared in a number of films?
Emma Thompson.
Yes, muscovado is a dark brown, unrefined variety of what foodstuff?
Sugar.
Yes, what name that translates from Russian as East was given to the Soviet manned space program that launched 6 missions from 1961 to 1963?
Mir.
No, Vostok. The villages of Lyndhurst and Brockenhurst are in which national park in southern England?
Hyde Park.
No, New Forest. What 2-word name after a character in a minstrel show was given to the series of discriminatory laws introduced after the American Civil War that enforced racial segregation in southern states?
Jim Crow.
Yes, the Greenland Sea and the Chukchi Sea, which lies between Alaska and Siberia, are marginal parts of which ocean?
Pacific.
No, the Arctic Ocean. Which play by Harold Pinter, first performed in 1960, features a pair of brothers named Aston and Mick?
The Birthday Party.
No, The Caretaker, from 1997 until 2015. What denomination of UK coin was minted with the phrase, standing on the shoulders of giants, inscribed around the edge?
£2 coin.
Yes. What variety of pasta similar to tagliatelle has a name that translates from Italian as little ribbons?
Linguine.
No, fettuccine, which composer's opera Der Freischütz, first performed in Berlin in 1821, to great acclaim, was influential in establishing German romantic opera?
Wagner.
No, Carl Maria von Weber. What word for a loan taken out to buy a property translates from Old French as dead pledge?
Mortgage.
Yes, the telescopic array, known as the VLT, or Very Large Telescope, operated by the European Southern Observatory to carry out astronomical research, is in which South American country?
Chile.
Yes, which Labour politician who first entered Parliament as the MP for Edinburgh Central in 1987 succeeded Gordon Brown as Chancellor of the Exchequer in 2007 and held the role until 2010?
Norman Lamont.
Oh,
No.
Alistair Darling. David, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got a total of 18 points.
Thank you.
And next up, it's row. So row, you start with 10 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 18 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge. Starting now, what three-letter word for a male sheep is an anagram of the word arm?
Ram.
Yes, the name of which street located in Lower Manhattan and the home of the New York Stock Exchange is used to refer generally to the US financial markets?
Wall Street.
Yes, which British actress has been married to Maxwell Reed, Anthony Newley, Ron Cass, Peter Home and Percy Gibson?
Joan Collins.
Yes, what was the name of the leader of the Hunnic Empire in Europe in the mid-5th century who became known as the Scourge of God?
Attila the Hun.
Yes, in the 1937 film Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which one of the title characters has a name meaning shy?
Bashful.
Yes, which UK Prime Minister who came to power in 1922 but resigned after less than a year in office because of ill health was the first one to have been born outside the British Isles?
Woodrow Wilson.
No, Bonar Law. In a name for the casualty department of an American hospital, what do the letters ER stand for?
Emergency room.
Yes, in 1915, the International Olympic Committee moved its headquarters from Paris to which Swiss city?
Geneva.
No, Lausanne. Which British novelist, best known for his children's books, is also the author of an adult mystery series about the culinary detective Monsieur Pamplemousse and his faithful hound, Pomfret?
David Walliams.
No, Michael Bond. Which chart-topping American rock band was formed in Nashville by three brothers and a cousin with the surname Followill?
Pass.
What collective term for plates, dishes, cups and saucers dating back to the 18th century comes from an older word for an earthenware pot?
Crockery.
Yes, the Cambrian Mountains are arranged in which home nation of the UK?
Wales.
Yes, which high-ranking Nazi official survived the end of the Second World War but was arrested by agents from the Israeli Secret Service in Argentina in 1960?
Hess.
No, Adolf Eichmann. What term from Japanese words for iron plate and fry refers to a dish that's cooked and served on a stainless steel plate that forms the centerpiece of the table?
Skillet.
No, teppanyaki. Which species of owl gets its name from its coloring and is also known as the brown owl?
Tawny owl.
Yes, what biblical word that can mean spiritual nourishment was the name of the bread from heaven that was provided to the Israelites in the wilderness?
Manna.
Yes, the term Merseyside Derby normally refers to a football match between Liverpool and which other club?
Everton.
Yes, which political leader co-founded the Indochina Communist Party in 1930 and served as president of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam from 1945 to 1969?
Ho Chi Minh.
Yes, it's Ho Chi Minh. Row, you just had the one pass. The chart-topping American rock band formed in Nashville by three brothers, Kings of Leon. And at the end of that round, you've got a total of 22 points.
Thank you.
And finally, we have Shamina again. Shamina, you start with 12 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Row's 22 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge starting now. Which Asian capital city was previously known in English as Peking?
Beijing.
Yes. Which metallic element has the chemical symbol Fe?
Iron.
Yes, the broadcaster and internet personality Riyad Khalaf won the 2020 series of the celebrity version of which television cookery competition?
MasterChef.
Yes, a method of education that allows young children to learn at their own pace and focuses on self-directed activities and creative play bears the name of which Italian educator and physician who developed it in the early 1900s?
Montessori.
Yes, what's the stage name of the British singer born William Broad who had UK top 10 singles in the 1980s with White Wedding and Rebel Yell?
Elvis Presley.
No, Billy Idol. Which US state did Joe Biden represent as a senator before he took office as vice president in 2009?
Illinois.
No, Delaware. What French term that translates as good word is used in English to mean a witty or clever remark?
Bon long.
No, bon mot. In snooker, assuming no fouls or free balls, the blue ball is worth how many points when it's potted?
6.
No, 5. Which small bone in the middle ear articulates with the stapes and the malleus?
The sternum.
No. Incas. Which author, who was the Children's Laureate from 2015 to 2017, wrote the Goth Girl and Otterline series of books?
Pass.
The atmosphere of the planet Mars consists mainly of which gas?
Oxygen?
No. Carbon dioxide. During the 1990s, the broadcaster and entertainer Giles Brandreth served as the MP for the city of Chester, representing which party?
Conservative.
Yes. What's the title of the BAFTA-winning 2019 documentary film about the life of a woman in Aleppo who gives birth and brings up her daughter during the conflict in Syria?
Say my name.
No. Fusama. The international festival called World of Music, Arts and Dance, first held in the UK in 1982, is best known by what acronym?
BAFTA.
No. WOMAD. The Musée Marmottan in Paris houses the world's largest collection of the works of which Impressionist painter?
Picasso.
No. Claude Monet. Which American general, known as Black Jack, commanded the US forces in Europe during the First World War?
Pass.
When Harold Macmillan said in a famous speech in 1960, "I've started, so I'll finish. The wind of change is blowing through this continent," which continent was he talking about?
Europe.
No, he was talking about Africa. And Shamina, you had 2 passes. The American general known as Black Jack, commanding US forces in Europe during the First World War, was John J. Pershing. And Chris Riddle was the Children's Laureate from 2015 to 2017, and he wrote Goth Girl and the Otterline series of books. At the end of that round, Shamina, you now have a total of 17 points. Time for the final scores. In 4th place with 14 points, it's John. In 3rd place with 17 points comes Shamina. In 2nd place with 18 points, it's David. And in 1st place with 22 points, it's Ro, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us, of course, at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I'm feeling great. I thought Shamina might have waltzed in there at the end.
At the end of the specialist subjects round, in 1st place, Shamina.
But no, fantastic. Yes, makes all the hours of revision worth it.
In 1st place with 22 points, it's Ro. She goes through to the semi-finals.
I applied for Mastermind. It was a moment of madness, but I'm quite glad I did it. And I would actively encourage anybody to have a go. You know, take that leap of faith, a bit of a sort of step out your comfort zone and go for it.